hypertensive changes in the eyes. Okay, so yan yung mga pwede natin makita. Again, because we're looking at dyslipidemia in the context of overall cardiovascular risk. Okay? Meron kasi mga secondary causes, no? Ito, yung si hypothyroidism, liver disease, ayan. So, kailangan mo rin yan is-screen out. Okay? Also, some drugs can cause dyslipidemia like the ones listed here, no? Referral to a specialist kapag may nagsususpect kayo na genetic or familial. Okay? So again, bottom line for the diagnosis, clinician should obtain, hindi naman kailangan itong ma-memorize nyo, no? Pero meron kasi na, two measures of LDL 1 week apart, no? So yung ngayon, saka 1 week after, okay? And LDL level should be interpreted in light of the cardiovascular risk using the Framingham risk equation, okay? Ayan. Focus on history and PD, on the identification of your cardiovascular risk and other secondary causes of dyslipidemia. And specialized testing pag familial hypercholesterolemia is suspected. Okay? So for treatment, yung treatment na sinasabi natin sa classmate nyo, pwede mo kayo mag-recommend ng mga anti-lipidinis nyo, no? Pero kayo, kung may nakita kayong modifiable risk factors, mas ma-appreciate namin pag sa lifestyle, no? Kung may nakita kayong pertinent positive, no? Lifestyle modification, ano ba yung diet modification na pwedeng gawin, no? So more of prevention tayo, not more on pharmacology. Okay? All patients should be advised about the importance of therapeutic lifestyle changes. And then patients should institute these changes regardless of whether the drug therapy is also prescribed. Okay? Naalala niyo yung sabi natin, hindi lang talaga pharmacologic ang management ng dyslipidemia. Malaki pa rin yung lifestyle modification. So example dito, diet for therapeutic lifestyle changes. No, na-discover nyo na yung saturated fat is greater than 7% of the total calories. No? So pwede nyo yung ilagay sa report. Okay, protein and cholesterol. Okay, also, overweight, So, overweight patients should reduce their caloric intake from fat and simple carbs. Ito yung mga lifestyle changes na pwede nyo gawin. Okay? Aim for at least 30 minutes of physical activity on most days. Okay? A structured aerobic exercise using large muscle groups, such as running, walking, cycling, or swimming. Okay? Now, when should clinicians recommend drug therapy? So, ito, case-to-case basis pa ito, but I want you to know that, it depends on the individual clinical situation. Okay, so, usually pag mataas na yung Framingham score niyan, sa startan na agad yan, no? Tapos, ang experience ko sa APE, sa mga annual physical exam patients na nakikita ko, and my personal patients, most of them gusto pa nila, Doc, okay lang ba diet pa rin? So, ayun, i-weigh nyo, no? Kasi ako, ang approach ko sa patient, personally, it's a team. Hindi naman pwedeng utusan mo yung pasyente na maggamot, no? Kailangan nanggagaling din sa kanya, at kung may family member, kasali kayong tatlo sa management na dyslipidemia, for example, no? So, yun, for example, Doc, kaya pa ba ito ng diet? So, kung yan ang kahit naman resetahan mo yan, kung diet ang gusto niya, hindi naman niya yan iinumin. Okay? So, it's a clinical depending on the individual. Okay? So, kung gusto niya diet, i-push mo yung mga lifestyle modification natin. Sabihin mo, sige, i-try natin for 1 month. No? Repeat lipid profile. No? So, pwede yung ganun yung approach. Pero ito, sinasabi, kailan ba kailangan natin i-push ang drug therapy? Okay? Ito, sabi ko, complete 6-month trial pag low risk for lifestyle changes before considering drugs. Pero ako, 1 month lang kasi na pagmaano yung risk, no? So in patients with CAD or CAD equivalent, that is your coronary artery disease, yung nag-chest pain na, and with cholesterol level of greater than 100, no? That's already a threshold for initiation of therapy. Okay? What options are available, no? So marami, ito sila. You have your HMG-CoA reductase, your statins, no? You have, so alam na natin yung action nito. You have your bile acid sequestrants. Naalala nyo? Meron tayong enterohepatic circulation for your bile acid. Naalala nyo yun? Ay, wala pa kayo sa liver, no? So, yung bile acids kasi, no? Meron niya, papasok ulit ng katawan natin. So, si bile acid, remember, cholesterol pa rin yan. So, pag hindi mo pina-absorb yung bile acid, hindi ma-absorb yung cholesterol. You also have your fibrates, no? You have your, si ezetimibe, no? Ayan, selectively inhibits intestinal absorption, no? You have your niacin. So these are the available drugs for this lipidemia. Okay, you have your omega-3, no? Meron din combination. So, bottom line ulit, selection of drugs for lipid control. Ito, hindi ko naman na-expect na na maaalala na siya kayong dapat gawin. Okay? But goals for treatment, okay? So ano ba yung, syempre, gusto natin ma-decrease si LDL, gusto natin ma-increase si HDL. So yan yung mga ino-monitor natin after your treatment. Okay? So, ayan, monitoring, no? So, kailangan din ng monitoring kung nagde-decrease pa siya. Ito, alternative therapies. Siyempre, may narinig tayo ng mga alternative medicines, no? So, ito yung may mga proven, no? So, among commonly used, so narinig nyo na si garlic, di ba? Hindi lang sa high blood, pati sa dyslipidemia. So, however, these therapies, no? Should not substitute for drug therapy in high-risk patients. Okay, so bottom line for treatment, it should always include modification of your diet and exercise to optimize lipid levels and should be based on individuals' patient risk for cardiovascular events, gaya ng paulit-ulit natin sinasabi, and select the drugs which target kung ano yung lipid abnormality. Okay, strong evidence supports statins for high-risk patients. Okay, so what can we tell our patients? No, ito yung pwede natin sabihin sa kanila. So we know that lipids are fatty, your cholesterol are fatty substances in the blood, can build up in arteries and lead to heart attacks, strokes, and other forms of heart disease. Okay, and there are several lipids that can affect your health. Okay. So, ideal lipid levels are needed, especially pag may diabetes po kayo, may high blood pressure, nag-use ng tobacco, may family history of heart disease, and other factors that may increase the risk for cardiovascular event. Okay? So, ito yung mga sinasabi natin that LDL is the bad cholesterol, HDL is the good cholesterol, total cholesterol is combination, whereas your triglyceride is your another type of fat in the blood, which has high levels and can be okay? And ito, pwede natin sabihin agad sa patients natin, no? Keep your body weight normal, follow a diet, so ito na yung recommendation, eat a diet that contains your plant-based and your yung mga fibers nyo than animal foods. Exercise at least 30 minutes on most days of the week. So 4 to 5 times. No? Avoid all forms of tobacco and consume no more than 1 to 2 alcoholic beverages. No? So kung na-screen nyo na to, ito na yung pwedeng i-modify doon sa patient. Okay? Sisend ko na lang to sa no? Sa So, I hope na yung sa mga classmates natin na na kailangan ma-advise na natin sila. Mahirap talaga ako personally, alam ko rin risk factors. So, ang kasi talaga yan, hindi pa kasi tayo mas-stroke at this age. Hindi pa tayo heart attack. Hindi pa tayo magkakaroon ng convulsive diseases. Pero later on, ano natin. Okay? So, yun yung take away natin. Okay? So, sa report, ayun, may rubrics naman tayo. So, baka si Doc siya mag-check yan. So, try as much na lang na mag-follow sa table na ginagawa. Okay? And using some of the information that we got from this session. Sige, any question? Wala naman? Sige, mag-early lunch na tayo. Kailan daw sa Friday yung ano? So, sa tingin nyo ba, ayan, i-assess nyo yung sarili nyo. Pasok tayo, 20 to 45. No? So, may risk factors pa tayo for cardiovascular disease. Okay? So, prevention pa rin tayo, no? May pa rin yung, natin. Ang sinasabi ko sa mga students sa freshman, yung prevention and screening, that's less money for doctors kasi syempre nape-prevent na natin yung complications. But that's what we signed up for. So, very clear yung mga tao sa kanila. Okay? Salamat.